welcome to I've Seen Things. I'm Taja.
And I'm Amy.
And we're here to talk about safety, logistics, and how they interplay.
Ooh.
Yeah, I thought I'd change it up a little bit for the new year.
I like it. Yeah, I wasn't ready for that word, so okay, good. Yes. Yep.
So Amy is our resident safety ninja, for those that are new watching or listening. And I am a logistics personnel.
Yeah.
Safety and logistics often argue about what's safe and how to implement it.
They do.
So,
although I don't know whether we had that many arguments.
Not where we were, but
no.
Certainly done it in the past.
Yeah.
We worked pretty well together. We sort of respected each other's opinion on how things worked.
Yeah.
But I've certainly worked with safety coordinators that just felt like they knew best and they didn't want to hear anyone else's opinion, even when they were wrong.
Ooh.
So.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I don't remember having a heated argument with you.
No, I don't think we had a heated argument. I do remember at least one incident where you've come out and said, hey, this is how this is going to work. And I was like, no.
I think that's it, though. Yeah. Full stop. There wasn't any yelling or anything.
No. Because you were like, why not? And we discussed it like civil human beings.
Which seems to be rare now in workplaces. So there's no room to break bread with people that may disagree with you.
Yeah, which is very sad because that's where innovation comes from, I feel like.
Yeah.
You have to understand both sides of the problem and the solution and how to make that work for it to actually, work.
And interplay.
Yes.
Oh, see? I looped it back.
Woo!
Loop-de-loop. So, what are we talking about today?
Do that on purpose.
Okay, so for everyone playing at home, we've just got back from I guess we mandated a break for us.
It was a bit longer than we originally planned on. We were going to have, we finished recording about mid-December and then we were going to take January off just to, Christmas and getting back into work and everything like that. But it got a bit away from us with I've had some family things and then there's been some really wild weather in Queensland.
Yes.
So it did get away from us a little bit, but I've had some health issues these last couple of weeks as well, brought on by other issues.
Mm-hmm.
So I've not done what I was supposed to do, but
here we are. It's not like we're not completely underprepared at all because we
have ideas of what we want to have a chat about.
Yes, but I think you're right. It's sometimes this year, and amongst all the celebratory things, the New Year's and the Christmas and the obvious ones, but then we've got a lot of birthdays. You and me both have a lot of birthdays happen around December, January as well.
Yeah, February.
Sort of leads into February a little bit too. So we're not sure what we're talking about. I think it'll just be a bit more winging it this episode rather than it maybe having as much structure and kind of pre-planning as what we'd normally do. Because we tend to have sort of things we want to talk about, a little bit of a list, a definite idea about the things we want to sort of really highlight and everything. But that's okay. That's all right. There's no shame in
I think we'll just talk about some of the sort of top news items and things like that have come across both Amy's safety industry board and my logistics industry board, because obviously that's one big thing about both of our sides of the industry is that there's specific publications that'll give you a lot of data. Let you know on new things. Like I was reading the other day that Queensland government have signed up to move all of their legislation to NHVR for heavy vehicles.
Yep.
So that's going to be interesting.
It is.
I mean, most companies dealt with them anyway, so it's not going to be
like a giant surprise.
It's not a massive surprise to people, but it is going to be interesting to see how it integrates.
Yeah, and it's a big transition. So it's been coming for a while, and it shouldn't be a shock to anybody to hear that that's happening. But that's a huge workforce that's transitioning over. There's been a lot of sort of consultation and everything go around that, but big things happening in your industry.
Yes, well, usually there is. I know there is one thing that I sort of wanted to speak on. End of last year, we didn't get to it, is the electric vehicles. They are really pushing it. I'm not sure how it's going to work in Australia, considering we have already had people prove that the mileage on the cars for electric vehicles just doesn't cut it. Between what are they going to do, put one out in the middle of the desert where nobody is?
Well, that's what I imagine for their great plan.
It'll just but the thing is that as with everything they do with stuff like that, it will be ripped apart. It'll be vandalized. It'll be, people are going to come through and be like, this is stupid, and just do what they do. So that's one of the risks they have with that. But I don't know if a country as big as Australia is quite ready for that. If it was a solar powered car, like where the solar was the main generator, and then you had a backup fuel for the days that are, like this, where it's raining.
Because we do live in a place that has
more sun.
We're speaking about that now. It is raining right now.
But it's still ironically sunny.
It is still ironically sunny, yes. So, of all the places in the world, yes, we see the most sun.
Yeah, it's not quite a sun shower, but there's definitely enough sun there. We haven't set any lights up for today, so forgive us if this lighting is a bit funny. But,
not funny,
yeah, it looks okay from what I can see on the camera, so hopefully it comes across that way when you're watching this. But
today, like I said, we're winging it.
It's been an interesting morning.
Yes, it has. But yes, so tell me about this story you wanted to get into.
Which one? The electric vehicles?
Yes.
There's a mining company that wants to put in self-driving electric trucks.
Yep.
At this stage, it will only be on their own property. It's not allowed to run on any public roads. But they're trialling it because I think that they kind of want to replace most of their driving workforce. That's the feeling that the drivers in the industry are getting, is that they want to be replaced. I don't know if that's going to be plausible. It's one thing to have it running on its own property, and I still don't know so much about how comfortable I would be with that. But having it out on the road, what was it? At the end of last year, there was those self-driving cars in Silicon Valley got into a gridlock with themselves in their own car park. Because none of them could figure out how to move around the other. Yes. Because they can't talk to each other either.
No.
So they just stayed there. It's like dealing with the Fae. There was a guy who went out with... Bringing in a whole different side of the argument. There was a guy who went out and he bought a bag of road salt that you use in colder climates.
Or the Winchesters in Supernatural.
Yeah. But, he went and bought a bag of this road salt and he went around one of these self-driving cars and he laid it in a circle and it couldn't get out. It couldn't figure out that it was not only road salt. It wasn't able to actually drive over the salt because it just read a barrier.
Yeah, it does scare me, this. Considering the amount of tests that have already taken place prior to these coming out and being on our roads, in various locations beyond, say, Google or whatever.
I don't think we have them in Australia yet, do we?
No, I don't think so. Oh, I haven't seen anything where it's happened in the city of Brisbane, Melbourne, any of the major places around Australia. But even if they have been heavily tested and there's been lots of different situations thrown at these vehicles to try and get out of, there's still a lot that they haven't factored in or learnt, because there's that AI thing again about constant learning and continual improvement.
And I think we've sort of almost conditioned ourselves not to trust it, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. Yeah. Because humans do tend to go for worst case scenario. That's just how we're wired most of the time. But it makes you a little bit more hesitant to actually step forward and be one of the first users. I certainly don't want to.
No. It needs to be way down the track. Yeah. Yeah. Like other people can do it. It's almost to the point everyone's sick of hearing about it, that everyone's got one. I might look into it. Maybe. Give me another few.
I'm going to be that old, you hear those stories now of old ladies that are like, don't get rid of my checkbook, and they're like still hiding their cash under the mattress. I'm going to be that, but with like cars. So I'm going to be like, no, I need that petrol station.
We talked about this morning before we jumped on this, about not having your cards and everything on your phone.
Yeah.
So if I can't do that or have my license on my phone, I don't think I'm getting an electric.
I don't have any of that set up on my phone either.
Yeah.
I will admit, I'm happy to do online shopping. I probably tap my card more than I should. I have had the thought in the last couple of months if I need to go back to like cash stuffing.
Yeah,
where
I've got cash.
Have cash and
and
I use only cash for things like my groceries and that.
Yeah,
but it doesn't quite. It's not convenient anymore. They charge you to get your own money out of the bank.
Exactly, and it's going up.
Yeah, and then they surcharge you on every purchase you make anyway. So
yes.
We should really talk about this on the other podcast.
We should. So we're getting off track. Not completely, because it is related to AI and apps learning trends and everything like that. So it is related to your electric vehicles and stuff.
And I mean, stuff like the having it on your phone stuff, that probably does come in handy for travellers and truckies and things like that, because it means that they're not having to carry as much shit. But what if your phone runs out of battery?
Yeah. What if it gets stolen?
And what if it gets hacked? Everything's hackable these days.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, especially if you still got access details to certain applications.
I can tell.
From other workplaces. Not saying who it is in this podcast.
It's a very good thing that I am a trustworthy person that would never actually do anything with those. But yes, I have had a couple of previous jobs forget to take me off things that they should have taken me off of.
Yeah.
The moment that my employment was over and I moved on to another job role at another company, I really should have been dismantled. But, no, it's still there. I still get the messages. Which is fine. I just ignore them.
Well, I mean, like you say, you're a trustworthy person, but it goes into that whole thing about, if you can hack vehicles and things like that. Well, if it can get itself into its own mess of not being able to move out of a car park, think of what a person could do.
Well, and one of the things that I worry about with this whole self-driving mine vehicle, and I mean, in this particular case, I think it's a quarry. They're not mining anything sensitive.
Okay.
But what if they were?
Sure.
Do they hack the truck and divert it and nick off with the material, or do they use the truck to have access to the site that they shouldn't have?
Sure.
Yeah, there's all of those sort of things, and it's not that hard to hide in a truck. They're big enough.
So is this, when you say truck, just to clarify for the people at home or watching or listening or whatever you're doing with this podcast, is it a Tonka truck? I call them Tonka trucks because that's like, what? With the kids' toys. Mm-hmm. And it was like little Tonka things that you could get. Like a truck that you'd put like stuff in the back.
Are you talking about an earth mover?
Like a tipper truck?
Yeah.
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 So we're talking about that.
It's going to be split between those, I believe, and like standard prime movers that they can hitch up to other trucks.
Prime movers as well. Okay.
So I believe the majority of what they're looking at are going to be the tipper trucks.
Yeah. The Tonka trucks.
The mud carters.
I'm sure people do know what I'm talking about when I say Tonka trucks.
I hope so. Well, it took me a minute. I love my best friend, but the first time she ever started working with trucks and she'd call me for, what do I do with this sort of thing and how do I deal with this? I said, what sort of truck are you dealing with? And she was like, it's one of the big ones and it's got curtains.
That would be me.
And there's like a shelf inside that moves. And I'm like, so Mesdeck taut liner? She's like, I don't know what it's called. It's just got curtains and a shelf. I'm fairly certain that's a Mesdeck taut liner. I think.
Look, to really underpin this, I did not know anything about trucks before I met Taja. Like, zip. I knew there was a B double out there because it got mentioned on the news a bit, when things happened, but I didn't know anything else. I didn't even know the damn thing had curtains till like everyone started talking about like the ins and outs of the parts of trucks and what different ones meant and what you could and couldn't do with them.
Yeah, and I still catch you offside sometimes when I'm sort of like, oh yeah, it's a Pantech, or and you're like, what?
Yeah, but I definitely know more than what I did. now. Like, I have a lot more information. I still couldn't pick out of a lineup all those other ones. I'd probably just be like, it's a B double. I definitely know that there's one there.
But what is a B double? Because it's not actually a truck, it's a configuration.
Oh, good God. See what I mean? This is a whole thing. It's a whole other world. And I did try my best to learn all the things, but I don't think I can know as much as you ever. Because I'm not in logistics. I'm just not.
No, but that's the thing. And it always cracks me up. Like, I've had people ring me to complain about trucks in the weirdest of situations. And then you find out it's not a truck, it's a ute. And so I'm looking for a truck driver in my fleet that's doing this thing wrong.
Sure.
And it's one of the company managers driving a ute. Like, well, I'm looking at the wrong people for starters, because you told me it's a friggin' truck and it's a car.
We're not in America.
Yeah. No, it's not a Dodge Ram, it's just a frickin' Colorado.
Yeah. Or a friggin' Toyota. Or Toyota Hilux or something.
Or what is it, the BT50?
Yeah, like it's a ute, people. We're in Australia, do not call them trucks.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a ute.
They're not trucks here.
No. No, a truck is a truck. A ute is a ute.
Yeah.
We don't pick up trucks. Stupid.
No, it is a stupid word. But back to the cars, I was thinking just about how I only just started using applications like ChatGPT and Copilot.
I haven't used that yet.
So this is big for me because I tend to be quite adaptable to a lot of programs and things like that. But I was quite hesitant to use something like that. So thanks, mate. My computer just went dark in front of me. And yeah, so we have a couple of versions of AI programs to help us at work, which now I sort of think about, I'm like, wow, I'm using this a lot to help, which, you know, is great if you can't think of how to structure different things. You need a particular photo, you can put input, good, like the sort of options are endless for what it can do.
Although I have read some things that have come out of GPT, so I think it's like you really have to proofread it sometimes.
Definitely have to. Oh yeah. You can't just go copy and paste and hope for the best.
Your response though, yeah. Oh my God,
you do.
You have no idea.
You weren't there. No, you do. You have to proofread. But I think about it in the other way where it's still learning. So even I've got it to the point where I'm like, good morning, and it'll go, good morning, Your Excellency. Amy Johnson.
Oh my God.
Whatever I want.
Today I am the Empress.
Yeah, it just constantly changes.
I'm surprised you haven't changed it to just flat out Safety Ninja.
It's coming.
Your title here.
It's coming. But there's things where I've asked it to do something and it goes, I cannot answer that, or I cannot make decisions like that because I'm not human. I'm not biased, or I'm not this. Like, it'll definitely tell you if it's within, like, the parameters you've asked it to do is just not something within its realm. It just can't pick one side, or it can't do something. And so, yeah, I'm sort of thinking, okay, so you're constantly learning and you're constantly trying to teach it to talk in a certain way and converse with it, not just going, I need this done, I'll put please and thank you. I'll talk to it like a human. So if I'm doing that compared to other people, hopefully AI won't be just that people are just shouting obscenities at it and not having grammar and think, you know, like you can actually have conversations. But I'm thinking,
when Skynet takes over, you're hoping it might be a little more lenient with you.
Because I've treated it like a person.
And it's thinking, die.
That's all. Yeah. Hello, Your Excellency. Die.
We won't drag yours out. We'll just nice and easy.
Yeah, but if that's program that's helping me just, you know, come up with a couple of different versions of how to do a particular structure of a sentence, or, you know, can I have this in grade 5 reading level for, you know,
considering where you work, I think grade 5's a bit high.
For an executive summary. Ooh, burn. And like for an executive summary, and I need it condensed into one paragraph, and you might have a whole page of information. Yeah, it can definitely do that. It can. But for a car, if you're inputting all the time and it's coming into variations every day, you don't have the same thing happen to you whenever you go out on the road. Like your travel changes daily. Even if you do the same route, you'll never have the same.
I do the same route every day, and the amount of crazy shit I see every day is insane. And I'm not even on the road for that long. It's like 20 minutes at the most,
which is quite low, like compared to a lot of other people.
20 minutes in either direction.
Yeah,
but oh my god, I had a ute nearly sideswiped me the other day because he decided he wanted to merge lanes and he didn't give a shit who was in his way. Was
it a ute or a truck?
No, it was a ute. It was definitely a ute.
Yeah.
And they did not like the horn when I honked at him. And I was like, you were at, like, the front of your bonnet was at my driver's door.
Yes.
You weren't in front of me. You were at my driver's door. Like, that's not even a checking your mirror thing. That's just a glance to the side. Your peripheral vision should have seen me.
Oh, you're there.
Yeah. My car is bright freaking Kermit green.
It is. I will vouch for that. Yes, it is.
It's one of the easier to see colours.
It is. So I do think, if your 20 minutes to and from home is never the same, we don't have a lot of hope for these cars if they're going further than that, crossing into different regions, rural.
In my head, when I sort of thought about self-driving cars, I sort of thought about like the ones from Minority Report. Where you're like,
how did I know you were going to bring that up?
It's like a little bit of a living room inside, and you like sit down on the couch and you program in where you want to go, and it's more like a monorail system. Just like zzz, off it goes. But the way that they're coming about just makes me very uneasy.
Yeah. I haven't seen one like in real life. Like you say, I don't even know if they're here.
No, I think they've only still. I know that the Cybertruck, which again is not a truck, it's a fucking SUV, has come out in America, which is the Tesla one, and it's that stainless steel body and everything. It does not have a lot of good safety features in regards to everyday use because it's made out of stainless steel?
Yeah.
Carbon steel?
Yeah.
It's made out of very heavy-duty steel on the outside. It's very shiny, which means that you're going to be blinding other road users. If it's a very sunny day, there's just this, no headlights, just shiny car.
Then you, that's driving a proper car, is a self-driving car for like a little bit of time while you're being blinded.
Oh my god. Just driving with the knees.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
But they were testing it on safety. So like a lot of boot latches, the ones that you press the button and it comes down on its own.
Yeah.
They have sensors all around the outside so that if you or your kid or something is left in that gap where it would close, it won't close, it'll reopen if there's something there. So if your hand is there or your kid's left, like if you turn around and the kid's put his hand down and you've already hit the button or whatever, it's not going to do any damage. This one will just take your fingers off. I'm not kidding. I'll see if I can try and get a bit of a video and I'll try and pop it up.
That'd be good.
Here-ish.
Yeah.
There was a guy who was using carrots, like raw carrots, big. They weren't little carrots, they were big.
Sure.
And he was putting it in and pressing the button and it just took them off.
Wow.
I was like, man, I'm so glad that that's not an actual hand.
Okay. Wow. Who come up with that? Honestly.
Tesla.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, not even, like, if I say that, but poor Nikola Tesla, his whole legacy is being turned into this.
Yeah, that's
where his name's gone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's not what he wanted.
No, I don't think he could have imagined this either.
I don't think he could have imagined Elon Musk.
No one can. Maybe himself, like Elon can, but no one else can. No, it's something that I think people are quite apprehensive about, and I haven't talked to anyone yet that's like, yes, the minute they come, I'm getting one.
Yeah. I think it's interesting to talk to people in IT and find out that there's a lot of things that most people use that don't work in IT that IT people won't touch.
Yeah.
Like the amount of people that I've met that work in IT and refuse to have smart home systems.
Yeah.
Or smart TVs or anything like that. And then they go into their phone and they disable certain functions that make it much user friendly, but apparently can be utilized by malicious intent on the other end. And I'm like, why has this not been made available to the public to know?
Yeah.
Because like for a while there, I was quite like, okay, I wouldn't mind having some smart home adaptability, because I would like, when I was working the stupid long hours, I would have liked to have been able to, from work that at that time was about 40 minutes from home, been able to jump on my app and be like, okay, turn the porch light on, turn the garage light on.
Sure.
You know, turn the aircon on because it's fucking 40 degrees at home.
And I'm dying and my face is melted off. Yes.
And like when I get home, it's after dark, but I don't have to worry about fumbling around for a light because I've turned them on.
Yeah.
And then it looks like there's someone home too, because you can turn the lights on and you're not there yet, but you're pulling up and it's already sorted. So I would have liked that at that time. But then when they're like, no, because then your house can get hacked, your security features are just like, you know, they can hack your front door and walk in and that. I'm like, why are we making it hackable?
Well, that's the thing. Like even the having the, I can't remember if I've got the name, but the doorbell where you can ring. Yes. And it's all like the amount of times that you see lots and lots of YouTube videos of like multiple different ways people can like destroy them, hack them. And it doesn't matter that you can see the person. That really doesn't matter. No. Like hello person that's going to burgle me or whatever. They're going to get in. They're going to do stuff because it's just really recording.
But you hear about those ones on the nanny cams where the kids are talking to no one in the room and then they realise that the nanny cam in the room has been hacked by a stranger and they're talking to your kid. I'm like, that's just so creepy.
Yeah. And wrong.
Yeah.
So it's another way of gross people to groom children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in the case of having something like that in a truck, it's another way for a truckie's life to be put in danger.
Exactly.
Like how startled do you be at like 2:00 in the morning, driving down the motorway, totally on your own, and all of a sudden your truck starts doing weird shit?
Yeah.
Like, hang on. Why are you turning left? I need to keep going straight.
Well, I guess it goes back to, you know, a lot of cars now, even some of our colleagues have cars that yell at them. Not to quote anyone in particular.
Oh God, I can't even remember how many years ago. One of my ex-bosses, he got an Amarok.
Yep.
Not my favourite car. I dislike them immensely. I'm not a huge fan of the Amarok.
That's a Ute, isn't it?
Yes.
Just clarifying.
Yes.
For anyone
it's not your favourite.
I do not like Utes.
She doesn't like any Ute. She's very disappointed in my choice of next car.
Yeah, I am. But look, if you're a good Ute driver and you don't bully your way around the roads and you're just courteous and nice.
Mate, the Ute I followed up to your place that day, he wasn't bullying his way around the road. He just stopped halfway through an intersection like he'd forgotten where he was going.
Or just maybe get more sleep. I don't know. See a therapist. Have a hug with someone. I'm not sure what you're missing in your life to be that hangry all the time.
Get a cat.
Get a cat. That's a definite, like,
it's always a plus.
Excellent option to do. But yeah, if you're a normal person and you don't tailgate and you don't force people off the road or anything like that, and you're just a normal driver, great. But there hasn't been that many Utes that I've come across yet that have been like that. Maybe this guy. But yeah, so not to derail what you're going to say, but I just wanted to get that for our listeners, just in case you're like, why is Amy being weird about Utes? That's why.
She's not a fan. But he had this Amarok and I didn't like it. And he handed me the keys one day and he was like, can you take it into this place? It's due for its service.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh crap, because it's a brand new fleet car. I don't want to be driving it.
No.
But
I wouldn't either.
But he's given me the keys, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to do it. I drove it in. I fucking hated it the whole way. It has power-assisted clutch. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, because it is the most ridiculous thing I've ever fucking heard of. It's either an auto or a manual. Choose one, But power-assisted clutch is meant to be somewhere in the middle, which is
why do you need to be in the middle?
Yeah, you don't. You don't. You're either an auto or a manual. You do not need to be in the middle. But the thing that annoyed me the most about this freaking car was that there was no balance point on the clutch because it was power-assisted.
Oh, so yeah, you're either really hard stopping or you're not stopping at all.
I could, for the life of me. I mean, I didn't drive it far, and it was my first time driving it.
Yeah.
But I never wanted to get into the fucking thing again. And it drove me bad. I had never freaking bunny hopped as much in my life as I did leaving the street in that car. And from that point forward, I was just like, I'm taking off in second and I don't care what it's doing.
The Amarok can die for all I care.
I've never stepped foot into one again. When it came time to pick it up, I was like, find someone else.
No, thank you.
No, I'm not a fan. I also am not a fan of the Mini Coopers.
Oh,
it's more the modern ones than the older ones, but that's because of the window size. Like, you can't see anything.
No.
There's so many blind spots in that car. They've got these dinky little mirrors and these dinky little back windows, and I'm like, how do you not hit anything? I like my car.
I get it.
So those are my two not no's. But his car used to yell at him and this was the first generations coming out with all of those sensors and stuff, and it was you remember the very first sensors that came out were all speed sensors, like,
yes.
So his car we had to go for a meeting at the Port of Brisbane one day, and we were in Rocklea, and the whole way to the Port of Brisbane and the whole way back, it was yelling at him like every time it changed speed zones that he was speeding, and he was like, shut up. I'm like, this is very uncomfortable. Because I'm like, I'm a junior in the office, and I've got the owner of the business yelling at his car next to me.
I mean, look, we've all been there. I've driven some questionable fleet cars in my time, and like the car beeps every time you get near the middle of the
near the dotted lines.
Near the dotted lines, yes. So if you just move over a little bit, look, you get a blink, like a beep and a blink. If you get too close to a car, you get a beep and you get a light in your dash.
Is this your
flashing.
new one?
No, this was a fleet car, but this is also my new one. Yes. So you get a lot of different little things telling you what you're doing wrong or potentially doing wrong.
But some of them are really, really bad. Because I remember my father saying that before he retired, they'd bought new trucks at his work and they had all of these safety sensors added. Only problem is that they were causing more safety issues than they were helping.
Yeah.
Because they were registering things incorrectly.
Oh, no.
So there was a driver who was coming up to a roundabout and it registered the car going around the roundabout as being stopped in front of the truck and put the truck into limp mode because it hit the brakes so hard. Problem is that you can't get it off limp mode in a situation like that without it going back to the dealership.
Oh, man.
And limp mode is not fast. He could not get onto a motorway or anything because limp mode is like maybe 20k an hour at your best.
Oh, no. Not a good time for anyone.
No.
Yeah. So people are already frustrated with the car, not necessarily always talking to you in the way of like, you know,
I mean, if you read the operator's manual, you can generally turn a lot of that stuff beeping at you off.
And most cars do come with an operator's manual.
We shall not name names.
We shall not name names.
They just swapped cars. That's fine. They went back to the old car.
But yeah, like, so if people are already annoyed with this, then they're not going to like it when the car can't get itself out of its own way, or a car park and just sort of stops and goes, I give up, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, there's I guess a limit to how much people are willing to accept and deal with.
There'd be a limit to how much the AI is willing to accept too, according to all the Hollywood movies. Because there's that one where a guy does he turns off the auto drive and he's speeding and then he gets pulled over and he's like, he blames the car, like, I must have read the thing wrong, and the car's like fuck you, and kills him, runs him into it. And I'm like, I'm not sure I want a self-driving car.
Is this Christine? Is that what we're talking about?
No.
Okay.
Not far off, but no. Christine's a bit older.
Because we're totally trusting Hollywood movies now.
No.
But, yeah, if we can't handle that with some of these safety features, or I'll do this, safety features that are meant to make us more safe. And this is coming from a safety ninja. Like, I'm not saying that everything's the worst in the world and, get rid of it all, but some of it can be unnecessary and actually cause more panic.
I think in some cases too, if then it's not been taught to people how to use it appropriately,
sure,
then it becomes more of a risk than a solution.
Yeah.
Because, you have all of these people, it drives me up the freaking wall, but you have all these people, they have blind spot sensors, and for some reason they seem to think that means that they don't need to check their mirrors or check their, do the shoulder check and that.
Yeah.
It is supposed to alert you that there's a car in your blind spot, not that there's a car next to you. Do you know what a blind spot is?
I don't think anyone that's getting their P's now knows what a blind spot is.
The amount I come through this one road, and I don't know if you've come down it on your way here, but if I get off at the exit where the Caltex is, and then I come down...
Yes, yeah.
Come down that one that cuts through the middle of the estate.
Yeah.
There's that sort of S-bend as you come up the hill and through that housing area and then down towards the little roundabout. And the amount of people, when I'm coming home during the week, that just blindly chuck a Yui in front of you and you nearly T-bow them because they're just... And you're like, dude, it wouldn't have even taken more than a glance in your mirror to see the car coming.
Yeah.
You travel under the speed limit through there because you know someone's going to do something stupid.
Yeah. Wow.
And most of them are P-platers with one or two old guys.
Yeah. Like, I know it probably sounds like a giant generalization of P-platers, but unfortunately, you do represent the masses with what we see.
Yeah. And a lot of... I've got a friend who's her uncle is a driving instructor. And he said the biggest issue is that they all have tunnel vision because they've been glued to devices their entire life.
Yeah.
And so they don't even know how to use their peripheral vision.
No.
And so it's what's right here. None of this matters.
No.
It's like that, you can't drive like that because you're going to kill yourself, let alone anyone else around you. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a friend that's a driving instructor, and she also has had to more often than you think grab the steering wheel because they're about to merge and they're going to plow into a car, or there's no room. Like, they're thinking there's room, but there's no room for you.
Oh my god, the amount of people that do that drives ridiculous.
It's a real pet peeve.
Yeah, it really is.
But yeah, it's constant, and I take my hat off to anyone that's a driving instructor. It's
I can imagine how frustrating that job would be, especially considering that they've upped the amount of time you have to spend with them.
Yeah, exactly. So to have tunnel vision,
I have no problem with them spending more time with the instructor because I want them to learn how to drive properly, but I'm sure that the instructor is like, please stop.
Because I sort of said, there's, risk definitely getting in the car with anyone. You could be a close friend and you're getting, in a car with someone and you're hoping they're a good driver and that. But these people, they don't have their license yet.
No.
So there's a whole other thing. And the roads, like we were talking about earlier, change all the time. 5 minutes can change, dramatically.
You get a weather event like we did the other day and suddenly you've got potholes, you've got water over the road.
Yeah.
You've got some idiot in front of you that doesn't know how to drive in wet weather.
Mm-hmm.
The road gets slippery because the water is then sitting on top of whatever oil or etc. that's dropped off the cars as it's been driving.
Yeah.
So there's all sorts of stuff, and that can change in 30 seconds, let alone 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And whether or not you know the route well or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, I think when I first started driving, and this is a very long time ago now,
Makes you sound so old.
I know, right?
So
long ago. One of the things my father said to me was never get cocky on the streets you know the best, because 90% of accidents will happen on a street you know very, very well.
Yeah.
Because you get cocky. So the more you know an area, the more precaution you need to take within your own head. Yes. To not get, oh, well, I know this area. The amount of people that pull out of streets thinking nobody's ever there. Exactly. And then ploughing directly into someone or into the path of an oncoming car because they couldn't be bothered to look because, well, nobody's ever there.
Yeah.
Just look.
Yeah. Much like rural roads. No one thinks anyone's going to be on there, so I'll just quickly do this.
And then they get cleaned up by a mud carter.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So
well, he wasn't supposed to be there. He was there first, though.
Well, that's the thing. I think, like, there was a story one of my colleagues was telling me the other day. He used to be a policeman, and he attended a scene where he was just on a backcountry road, driven a lot, travelled to and from work on a motorbike. Never anyone when he was travelling. He, always said to his family that there's never anyone on this road. It's just me, so I can kind of
do what I want.
Do what I want, have a bit of fun, whatever. And yeah, he ended up getting cleaned up. He got decapitated.
Yeah, I've unfortunately seen that happen to a truck driver in the industrial estate near here.
Yeah, so unfortunately, and the person that was passing by happened to be an ex-cop, so he'd done a lot of stuff pre the cops and all the emergency services getting there. But truck driver was fine. He was in quite a large
he wasn't really fine, but
he was fine in a way, physically fine compared to the motorcyclist, but he took an unnecessary risk in front of him because he didn't think anyone was on the road with him.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for that truck driver, has to live with that now.
Yeah.
Seeing that, being there.
Living with it,
Living with it and everything. So, both thought, it's just another day. I travel this
There's
road.
Never anyone on this road.
There's never anyone on this
day.
road. But yeah, it took an unnecessary risk. And yes, unfortunately that motorcyclist got decapitated and lost his life. And then, of course, the ripple effect that affects beyond the truck driver and then his family and the whole...
The truck driver, the motorist.
Yeah, just everybody.
Driver,
yeah.
His family, yeah.
And emergency services seeing that as well. Traumatic event. But that just sort of goes to show that you almost got complacent, probably is the word. Yeah. And you thought, I don't know. I'm not sure about the full detail of what he was doing, but if you're thinking no one's on the road, you might do Fast and Furious type stuff, or I'm not sure. I don't know. I haven't been on a motorcycle, so I'm not sure what you would do. But whatever you do on motorcycles, that
Fast
you would
and
not normally.
in cars.
Oh, good point. They have motorcycles on that though.
Rarely.
Okay. All right.
As Dom says, no crotch rockets.
Don't trust Hollywood. But yeah, so it's interesting with all this stuff and then factoring in electric I was going to say caretakers, but that's not the word. Electric cars.
Wow. Electric vehicles, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with electric cars. I think it's probably a good step forward. I think we have to go a long way with our infrastructure because they haven't even they haven't even started looking at upgrading the infrastructure in Australia in regards to solar panels on houses.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they're expecting it to be such an easy conversion to electric vehicles when they're already telling us that the power grid can't handle what's going on with solar panels and household usage.
Yeah.
We've had blackouts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've had some states and some areas with rolling blackouts because of the power issues.
I had a brownout yesterday. Couldn't get enough power to some things to power the house.
Yeah.
Household appliances. Couldn't toast my toast, people.
Need your toast.
Need my toast.
Need your toast.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm lucky here because we do have solar panels and we have a backup battery. Half the time we don't even know if power's gone out because we are self-sustainable.
Yeah.
So that's all right. But it's not that cheap to do that.
No.
Like that was a lot of money to set that up. And it wasn't me.
No.
It was there's we're currently in my parents' house, and that's their setup.
Yeah.
But
no, you need to have a reasonable income to be investing in solar and batteries and generators and various other things before you even look at trying to deal with even, like having car batteries in some electric vehicles or going sort of hybrid and stuff like that. Some government vehicles are blown up in car parks.
Yeah, and you see the videos
because they're moving to fleet with having these. So
because that's what they want to do. Yeah. But then you see, because the batteries, the I think it's lithium ion that they're using for the electric vehicles.
Yeah,
they burn so much hotter. And it's really hard. Like, once they start burning, it is really, really hard to put them out again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they had an entire factory destroyed in something like 5 minutes because one battery went and it sent all of the rest of them off. And no one could even get near it. The firefighters that arrived, when they found out what was burning inside and how much of it was stored there, they didn't even try to put fire out. What they did was they built a fire break so it couldn't spread to any other warehouses. So it's bad when the fireys themselves are like, not going near it.
No.
They'll walk into burning buildings, but they ain't going near that one.
No. And that's the thing. There's nothing left. Like, those cars that, combust. It's not like you just sort of see a hole where the motor or, in the bonnet. Like, there's a motor.
But you don't even see a burnt out car the way you would. Like, I was driving home from work the other day and there was a burnt out car on the side of the road, and it's like, the paint is burnt, but the shell of the car is still there. Yeah. There's not even that. It's slag. There's nothing left. So, to have, vehicles in garages and, quite close to your house or even on the driveway, it would do a lot of damage. So, and that's what they're saying with the power wall that Mum and Dad have. They were asked, do you want it inside or outside? And Dad went outside.
Sure.
And the guy went, good choice. He said, we can put it inside. I prefer to install them outside because that gives you a chance if it does set on fire. And I'm like, sorry, what?
Who?
But it has become a thing that they have to start talking about the fire safety risks with them.
Yeah.
Because if it goes, you got a couple of minutes to get out. Yeah. If it's outside of the house and there's less combustible material near it, it gives you a bit of extra time to get out.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's the thing. So, I mean, yes, people are slowly starting to transition over to different eco-friendly vehicles, but there are risks. So you don't want to have a carbon footprint and you want to have less energy. You want to be not contributing to carbon, so on and so forth.
Yes.
But the other side of it is, I don't know whether we're still there and we fully understand, like what you've been saying, what these vehicles are and what the risks are if something happens.
Their mileage, their capacity, because it's going to be much harder to have a truck as it is to have a car. Because a car's carrying maybe 1 or 2 ton max, but a truck is carrying 40, 50 ton. So it needs to have that power behind it to be able to cart that without overheating, without doing anything that's going to put anyone at risk.
Yeah.
And that makes it hard because we have much farther distances to travel than some other places.
Yeah.
And it needs to be able to cover that distance while not losing strength.
Yep.
So that's another hurdle that they have to jump. And one of the most ludicrous phone calls I've ever taken in customer service for a trucking company was someone ringing me to complain about the emissions coming out the back of a truck.
Right.
Because the truck blew a little bit of smoke out of its stack. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, it shouldn't be doing that. It's an internal combustion engine. That's exactly what it does.
If it wasn't doing it, there's something wrong with it.
I'd be upset if it wasn't. And she's like, well, it should be cleaner than that. Don't you know that we're supposed to be looking after greenhouse gases? And I'm like, ma'am, it's a diesel engine truck. What do you drive? It was like, just like I drive a Corolla. And I was like, okay, is it an electric vehicle? No, it's petrol. Right, well, my truck is still using less than yours.
Yeah.
Because diesel engine almost anything, uses less fuel than anything that's petrol.
Yeah.
So mine is still per litre doing better than yours.
Yeah.
And it's
there was crickets after that.
20 times more.
Yeah. It's all good
I wasn't allowed to answer those phones anymore. She wanted to speak to my manager. I was like, sure. Not a problem.
To get the same answer? Sure thing.
Yeah. They're like, we'll have a look at that when it gets back. We can't help that, mate. It's truck. It's going to do that. Electric trucks are in production. I think there's one maybe in Australia that was being developed by, was it Forsyth?
Madly Googling.
Yeah, I know I saw one at, was it the Brisbane Truck Show a couple of years ago that they were starting to talk about it? But
I definitely wouldn't have been at that show.
You should go, it's a lot of fun.
I don't know if you're just saying that or if you were saying it.
Oh no, when I was a kid, I used to go with my dad.
Cool.
And it was almost like, because we never went to ECA or anything like that, but I do remember loving going to the truck show because they used to have all the new safety tech stuff. And in one case, they were talking about the new roll safety in, I think it may have been the Scania-old Volvos. And they'd set this truck up on this whole hydraulic lift system that, like the Wipeout at Dreamworld.
Yes.
And so you got to climb in, strap in, put yourself into brace position, and then they simulated a roll.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I don't know, 10, 11.
Yeah.
Dad, I want to do that. They let me in. It was the best ride ever.
The Wipeout is not fun for those that don't know what the Wipeout is.
It would be a lot more fun if you were in a truck seat.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There you go.
They're a lot more comfortable than the seats on the Wipeout.
Yeah. If you're someone that's international listening, just look up Dreamworld theme park and look up Wipeout. You should be able to get a good video of that. Yeah. I went on it once and it has a fake shark fin circling at the bottom. I'm not sure they have that anymore there, but
no, not anymore. They had that pond, and then they had the shark
just circling, and then you go really close to the shark, and then you get yoinked away quite quickly. Quite terrifying. I went on it once and once only, and that was enough for my lifetime. I'll never go back on it again.
My brother got stuck on it. No, I mean literally stuck.
Ugh.
And he was in the upside down position, and you know how it's got like the 3-point harness?
Mm-hmm.
It was not in a comfortable position.
Ooh,
he limped off.
The kahoonies.
And the girls on either side of him were cracking up laughing. As they do.
Yeah.
I cannot find it.
Well,
I can see here that Volvo is pushing for something to be allowed. That was only May last year. Wait behind electric trucks in Australia. Volvo Group want heavier trucks to be allowed on Australian roads, arguing it will not be able to make electric trucks in Brisbane capable of travelling several hundred kilometres unless regulators change the rules. And the Volvo Group that does the trucks is separate to Volvo Cars, which does the cars. They are actually two completely separate arms.
Yeah.
Two completely separate companies, sorry, and they're one is Swedish owned and one is Chinese owned. The Volvo Group, which does the trucks, is Swedish owned.
Sure.
So it looks like they were planning on making electric trucks at the Wacol manufacturing plant from 2027. But the heavy vehicle regulations on the limit of the truck's front axles are maximised at 6.5 tonne to minimise road damage, and Volvo would like it raised to 7.5 tonnes to accommodate the weight of the batteries carried or required to be carried.
Yep, makes sense.
And they're limited to the 6.5 tonne to limit road damage, because the heavier the vehicle, the more it can damage the roads. So I don't know where that's going to go with that one, but it'll be interesting to see. They'll probably just put the rates up again.
Cool.
Paying rego on a truck is ridiculous. It's freaking really expensive.
Everything's really
expensive. You think
expensive.
your car's expensive? Not in comparison to a truck.
Well, luckily, I will not be investing in a truck anytime soon.
It is very lucky then.
Very, very lucky.
But I think we've rambled enough for this episode.
Okay.
So
cool.
But you have a Reddit for our next episode?
We do. I do.
You do?
Not we do.
We do?
I do. That I will
does.
tell you.
Amy's more prepared for the next episode than I was for this one.
Well, I don't think we didn't.
You don't think?
Maybe it's been that kind of day. I don't know. But this episode's been good because we covered a lot of stuff. But even though we went off a little bit, we brought it back.
We tangent. You guys already know this.
Yeah. So if you've been with us from the start, you should know us well enough now.
That we tangent
and
quite heavily.
So yes. But well done. Good topic. I liked it.
Yep. Yeah. And if anyone has anything to add, please send us an email, comment on our Instagram.
Ooh, rate and review us.
Yes.
No one has done that yet. If you are the first, we will we'll call you out on our podcast. We'll say your name, say thanks.
We'll shout you out. We won't call you out.
We'll call you out and go, hey mate.
You reviewer, you.
You with the name.
And then it's you.
It's just me saying how great we are.
I'm such an amazing podcaster.
5 stars. 5 stars. 5 stars. Look, yes, I would prefer 5 stars, but I don't want to tell you what to do or anything. But 5 stars would be great. Just look, we would actually be really grateful if someone did review us. We don't have any reviews, so super grateful for that. And send in your stories. I've seen stories because I guarantee you've seen things just like us.
We always love to hear about the crazy that happens at work.
And there is
there is not a workplace on this planet where crazy does not happen.
And just weird things happen. You go, yeah, that was weird. Why? What?
Why?
And how?
What was your thought process?
Yeah. So we'd love to hear it. So please get in touch because we know there's quite a number of you listening out there too now.
Yes.
Which is excellent.
The analytics are in.
Yep.
The analytics are in.
And we'll call you out.
I'll shout you out. She'll apparently call you out. I don't know what you're being called out for.
Being how awesome you guys are that listen.
That's a shout out.
Yeah, I temporarily forgot what the word was. I was like, call out. Oh, I'll just say that. It's fine. But yes, review us, love us, like us,
share us.
Ooh. So if you're watching us, share us.
If you're listening to us, share us.
Tag us. Yeah, we'd love to see it,
just
hear it.
Engage with us. We would love to have some engagement.
Yes, because we know you're listening. Because I was going to say we're listening, but we're not. I'm listening to you.
Yeah.
So I'm not listening. That'd be weird if I called out everyone that I was listening to. Anyway, look, we'll wrap it up for today. Good chats.
For some reason in my head now, I've just got Christy laughing at you in the pool incident.
Oh, I got a leg cramp in the pool and she just laughed at me, my friend. Yeah.
She's still laughing.
She's still laughing. Thanks, Christy. Anyway, we'll say goodbye for now. And until next time, stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.